I've actually been hesitating making a longer video for a while because I want it to be perfect. But the reality of this is that nothing is perfect, right? Everything we do on a daily basis is about trying to fight against entropy. And maybe that makes more sense as I'm kind of making the space game, that there's the second law of thermodynamics where everything is trying to fall apart on you, whether that's your life, your relationships, the work you're doing, the learning, the education that you're going through, the game you're making, your exercise, right? All of it kind of is bent on destruction, and you need to maintain it daily. So that's been difficult. And but what I love to show is kind of the realness of what I go through when I'm trying to create something. So in this video, for about an hour, I'm going to go through this idea of creating an asteroid belt. I already have kind of this asteroid area that I created, but I want to add some, like a new planet I found that's kind of broken up. I want to add the asteroids around it in kind of this donut shape. And then I have a new asteroid that kind of has a different color on it. So I'm going to grab it and put it in, see if I can figure out the textures on it that are provided in that pack. I'll show you where I got them. They're free models and free textures on this pretty cool website. And I just want to see if maybe I can just bump into some of these unique asteroids and make them disappear or collect them. I was thinking of doing more of an Ender's Game type battle school in this space simulation, but I kind of like this idea of just, cleaning up the asteroids in an asteroid belt, or cleaning up when a planet was maybe destroyed and you're trying to find pieces for something, or collecting some kind of silicate, right? So that's what I'm going to do here. So join me, I'll show you what I have going on already. As you can see, this is my scene. When I press play, these asteroids get made. We do have a little bit of sound. I'll turn the sound off so it's not too loud for the video. And yeah, these asteroids, you can kind of bump into them and move them around. Pretty cool little physics, but we have at least the concept of this belt that we can work with. I do have this HDR background, which is pretty sweet. You'll see if I can try to go down, you'll never get to that planet down there because it's not a real 3D object. It's just a background. Now, if I turn this way, and some of my controls are really interesting, right? I'm going to press spacebar to go up, and we're going to try to find that other planet. I think I'm out of view of it. So let me zoom forward here and see if I can catch it back in my view. Where did it go? This planet disappeared on us. There it is. It's way up there. So this planet we can actually go to. So I'm going to aim my cursor up there and turn my position. This is an actual planet. I tried to move it further away. This is a moon. So as you can see, as we get closer, it obviously gets larger, and then we'll eventually kind of bump into it. Anyhow, that's the current setup that I have. I do also have this little box here, which you'll see if I move around in the scene. There's this box. This is the box where if you go into it, some things would kind of come and attack you, or they'd appear like asteroids or something would come and attack you. I don't know that I'm going to continue to do that. In fact, I might just turn this off for now. I don't know. I'm just not that interested in what that does. Maybe at some point it could trigger, enemies shooting at you. I don't know. I'm not that interested in it right now. There's a lot of shooting games out there. There's a lot of battle games. I'm kind of more interested in creating, like I said, maybe an asteroid collection, or maybe a mineral collection game. So let's do that. Let me just move this over a hair, and you'll see I got these materials here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the models. I'm going to import a new asset. Okay. I got this asset. There is this kind of asteroid pack. You can see the textures here, which are pretty cool that it came with all these little textures, but it has all these little colors in there that you can see them shining. Let me show you the pack that I got. So this is the website I've been using. It's called CGTrader, CGTrader.com. And this is the asteroid that I found. I thought this was super cool, right? It's kind of got these little shiny spots on it. It's shiny in between. So it really looks like a mineral that you would grab, which I like to call cosmic silicate, right? There's something interesting there. There's also this exploded planet. Now this one, I didn't really like the way this looks as far as how it's exploded. It's okay. It looks, I don't know. It looks a little too jagged for me, but I couldn't find a better one. And I thought, okay, I don't want to spend hours looking for something. But if you go back, you can see there is really a lot of cool stuff on this website, and a lot of it is free. So, I mean, this one's pretty cool too. You know, check it out. Feel free to see, you know, if there's something that you could use there. This is a huge solar system. Some of these are just so enormous, you know, like when I checked out the planets, you know, they were so far away from each other, a bit more than I was willing to get into. Anyhow, let's jump back into Unity. I'm going to pull in that asteroid, okay? It's an FBX file. I should be able to pull it in here. It's the model. Okay, where did it go? It looks like this one right here. Okay, so I'm gonna drop this into my scene. There it is there. Now it doesn't have any textures on it, okay? And I'm not 100% on these, on even how to do this yet, but I'm going to figure it out. We're gonna call this, let me rename it first thing, asteroid. Will it let me rename it? I think it will. Let's go here, rename, asteroid silicate. Okay, now when I go to, maybe it's this one that I need to adjust. There's a mesh renderer, there's a shader. It's really the surface inputs that I want to adjust. So I don't know if I have to adjust that here. It looks like there's not a material in it. Sometimes I forget how this works. There's asteroid material. Maybe this is what I adjust. But see, I don't see any adjustments that I can make here. Maybe it's this one. Mesh renderer, base map. Yeah, I can't adjust any of these for some reason. Mesh render, asteroid material. Maybe I need to create a new material. Let's actually import all of those materials that we had, because maybe it's trying to point to these. Okay, I can already tell that I need to, what is this? That I need to organize these a bit better. Let's create a folder. Let's call it asteroid silicate material. Let's see, there's displacement, albedo, metalness, normal. I think that's all of them. Let me double check the texture. So normal, metalness, albedo, displacement, emissions, should be those 5-ish. Let's put them all in here. Okay, that's not what I wanted. Asteroid materials, asteroid silicate materials. Okay, let's go back to materials. Down, down, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one more. Where is it here? Skybox, place, booster, albedo. Okay, asteroid silicate materials. You can see that that folder was empty. Now it has all 5 of my materials inside of it. Okay, let's go back to this upload, and I should be able to add a material to this. I don't know what it's saying as far as this asteroid material, but what I'll do is I'm going to go to the materials section here, asteroid silicate, and I'm going to say, let's add material to it. Okay, so that looks like it did something. Let's check it out. Perfect. Okay, so the base map here, I don't think, that's interesting. Albedo's in that one. It's part of the material. Okay, so let's go back to the asteroid. We're going to put the metallic map, which is probably metalness. We're going to do the normal map there. It's a little hard to see there on the side, but I'm looking at the mesh renderer. Inside the shader options, I have these surface inputs where it says base map, metallic map, normal map, height map. I think displacement might be the height map. And then emissions, let's see if I can do emissions. And you know what's cool is I learned this too in one of the tutorial videos. I think it's, if I create, is it create variant for render? Let's see. What I wanted to do is open this up. I think I can double click it, select shader, editor, creator, select shader, flat. Copy material properties. No, that didn't do it. What I'm trying to do is open this up. Maybe one of you knows how to open this up, because the problem is if I select the material Now I don't have that inspector open again, so I constantly have to go back. But maybe one of you knows how to do that. Let's see, there's occlusion. I don't know if this is it, displacement. I want it to be darker, and I don't see the emission. Normal, height map, metalness. So this is just me not knowing exactly how this stuff works, right? So I might actually take it to GPT. It looks pretty good though. You know, it's not terrible, but I do want the emissions to show a little bit better. Oh, there's the emissions. So I can turn it on. Let's put an emission map in. Let's see if we got any emissions. I'm going to turn this a little bit. I don't see anything emitting, and maybe it's just not dark enough. Let's see, base map. Let's turn this to dark. Okay. I don't want it so metallic either. So let's, that's pretty dark. Workflow, metallic. Let's see here. It's taking its time to send it back to specular. Okay, metallic alpha, albedo. I think it wants albedo, maybe. That way I can put that in there, metallic map. Maybe this goes there. I don't know what the base map is though. I think maybe, let's see. I have albedo, displacement, emissions, metalness, and normal. Let's see if I put the albedo in the base map. Okay, so I'm gonna go to GPT. Here we go. For the main asteroid, I have these options. Where do these fit into the surface options or inputs and detailed inputs for the inspector on Unity? Okay, so yeah, let's toss that in and see what GPT says. What I also did for GPT, you'll see on the top left, is I had an idea, like I told you, this idea of creating this moon-sized orbit and having these asteroids all around that moon. Maybe that moon's destroyed, whatever it was. So it actually gave me some ideas on how to do that before we got started here. So I'm going to go through some of this, see how much of it we can get done before the end here. I don't want to take too much time. Okay. Base color and opacity. So I was right. The albedo is the base color and opacity. I'm going to move this over so I can read this a bit, and I'll shrink it so you can see what we're working on in the inspector. Okay, let's see. Albedo's base color and opacity. I don't see the opacity here though. Assign your maps. Unity slot, albedo, albedo texture, metallic, R. Normal map, that's fine. Height map, displacement. So let's go to height map. I think I did that, right? It's the displacement. I did pretty good here, guys. Emissions, enable emission checkbox, put the emission map in there. Okay, perfect. I'm assuming maybe my emissions has to be like more of a white color, because dark is maybe it's emitting dark, right? Yeah, look at that. Okay, that was perfect. Now you can see, if we zoom in on this here, let me make this editor a little larger. We've got this really neat looking rock. Look, there's some gold on it. There's some green and blue, some teal. This is pretty friggin' sweet. I love this texture. So what else can I do here? I don't really like, I think the metallicness is a bit too much. Let me see if I can make it less metallic. Smoothness, that kind of does make it a little less metallic. I like that. That's about right. Height map. Oh, interesting. Kind of curves it in a bit. I like it more bulky though. Occlusion map. I don't think I noticed too much of a difference there. Global illumination. Real time would be neat, but that's probably too much effort. Normal map, let's see what this does. Okay, so that kind of shows the details. We're just going to leave that at 1. Okay. Specular highlights. Let's give that a second to show up. I like those in. Those are pretty cool. Environment reflection, yes. Okay, we're going to leave this as is. I'm going to zoom out a little more here. Let's see. Let's go back over to the ship and see how far away. Now let's just fly on over to it and see what it looks like. Now it doesn't have a rigid body on it yet, so I can't interact with it, but I can jump into it, right? It's probably too large. Maybe I would like this silicate to be much smaller. So let's, just to begin with, let's just reduce the scale. Maybe 25%, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. Let's add a rigid body to it just so I can run into it. And of course, further, I'm going to minimize the mesh render here. It's a little large. And I want to turn off the gravity. Otherwise, that asteroid's just going to fall completely down, right? Okay, let's take another look. Ooh, it's kind of hidden in here. So you can kind of see it's darker. That's cool. And it's not spinning yet. I love the look of this. This is super cool. So let's, I have a little spinner, number 1. Let's rename this. Actually, let's go see if the model itself, let's collapse that. I want to make sure, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create this as a prefab, okay? Asteroid, I'm going to say cosmic silicate, okay? We're going to put this into, we don't want it as a prefab, as that. I'm in the model section, that's not what I want. Let's go to prefabs over here on the left. Sorry, you can't see that, but I'm going to move that over. Okay, open up prefabs. Cosmic silicate is now a prefab. I also have the asteroid prefab set here already. And this is exciting. Let's open this prefab. What I want to add, we have the rigid body. I want to add the spinner. Let's see, spinner. I have this spinner that I created with the other asteroids. And all it is this script that spins this object. So if we press play here and we walk toward it, or excuse me, fly toward it, we should see it spinning. It's spinning super duper slow. Maybe because it's based on the scale. So let's bump that up. Let's bump that up to, I don't know, almost like, what is that, 8 times the speed? Let's zoom in and see how fast it's spinning. That's quite a bit better. A little more natural, right? I love the way that's even spinning. It's pretty sweet. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to jump back to GPT. As I said, there were some instructions here on what we can do. Take a little sip of coffee. Okay, so it wants me to create an asteroid ring. Make it a child of moon orbit center. The moon. Let's get the moon in first. I want to see if we can make this work. It's this one here. Sometimes when I upload the Blender files, it doesn't bring all the textures with it. Let's see what it does. Maybe I'll use the other texture, right? Did it upload? I didn't see anything happen. Let's do moon blend. Maybe because it's a blender. Okay, you know what? I wasn't going to, but oh wait, there it is. Last import. Let's see what this is. Ooh, interesting. Generate 22 warnings. This looks wild. Something is going on with this. Check this out. Oh my goodness, what is happening? Let's kind of zoom around. Just so you know how to zoom around, I'm putting 2 fingers on my trackpad and I'm using WASD to kind of get around. This is interesting. I don't think it's going to be usable. Let me jump into what I'm going to do. I'm going to delete it from both here. And yes, delete it. I'm going to open up Blender. I have some experience in Blender. Let's delete the cube here. Let's import. I don't even need the camera, the light, that first collection. Okay, let's do import FBX. Actually, it's a blend file. So maybe I just open. We don't need to save that. Let's go to downloads. It is modified today. Come on. Where's my blend file? It should be this one. Okay. Let's take a look. Okay, 3D view. Okay, so something is really wrong with this. If any of you are good at Blender and you know what's happening here, let me know in the comments. I'd love to try to fix this, but I can't even see what is going on with this, right? It's I don't know. It's not good. Maybe if I render an image, I mean, that looks pretty cool. So what are they rendering? I don't understand. It's like they're rendering the little tiny objects in between it. And so if I put it in game, it's going to just try to render those tiny objects. It's maybe above my head right now. Let me do this again. Let me pop it in. We have it in here. Let's see. Let's play the game. See what happens. See if it renders differently, right? Ooh, what happened to my screen here? Why am I not... Let me undo. There it is. Okay. Where did it go? Spin around, spin around. I don't even see it. I think it comes with its own camera. Let's look here. Oh, look at that. Camera, delete. What is this cube? Let's just start turning things off. Oh, let's zoom in. Okay, so there's all these kind of objects around it. It almost has its own light. I see what's happening here. There's an icosphere, there's a lamp. Let's get rid of this lamp. I don't want another light source. Okay. This is making more sense. I'm learning something here. Cannot restructure. Okay, that's fine. I think because I dragged something accidentally. We've got a cube with a whole bunch of things inside of it. Okay, we're closer. Let's take a look. Let's press play, see what happens. Okay, we have this cube still. I don't know what this block is. Let's try to zoom in on this part. What is that block? Maybe it's this. Let's get rid of it. Oh, that was part of that. Okay, let's do that and see what happens. Yeah, it's still not working correctly. I still see these strange cubes. Let's see, icosphere. That's just the sphere, that's the main sphere. This is all the pieces, I think. What else? Let's pause this. What is all this? I don't know why it's rendering differently. Let's go up and get rid of, okay, this is a cube. And then that's the cube. I'm just gonna delete it. And I'm gonna delete that cube. And then I don't need that either. Let's see what we're left with here. It's kind of a planet that's barely exploded. That is cool, but I don't have texture on it. I'll try one more thing before giving up on this model. Let's go to the materials. Let's open up the moon. Oh, I need a material. Render. This shows you guys how new I am to all of this, right? We need a mesh renderer. All right. And let's see the material I want on that. We're going to use this Mercury. Maybe we can use like the Neptune material. Maybe that'll be interesting. Mercury 2K. Okay, let's go back to the moon. Let's go into this. Base map is there. I'll put Mercury in the base map. Metallic map. I'll do this for the normals. I don't really see any change here. Maybe I need to make it on these specifically. That's probably right. Which is a ton of stuff here. Maybe I can highlight all of these. and add the mercury element to it? I don't think so. Material shader. Materials, material 3. We're going to go to mercury here. It looks like that's the inside one. Ah, interesting. Okay, cool. So maybe we can get kind of like a booster color. This booster. Okay. So that's neat. Then what do we got? They got these outside materials. Is this like one piece? Let's take a look. It is. It's like one piece. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let us add a material that's going to be the mercury. This should work, right? Plus, no. Let me just, all of these, I'm going to add mercury to. It didn't give me enough. Let's see. It's interesting. I can see them adding individually to these materials. I don't know if that's, I don't want to do this individually, right? If I could combine these, let's see. Deselect, prefab, create empty. I'm not seeing how to add the material to all of them at once. Kind of a strange way that they've done this, right? Or it's just my lack of knowledge. Okay, I'm not that worried about it. This is an interesting exploration. What I'm going to do now instead is going to follow GPT. I have some ideas for what I want to do here. As I mentioned, let's read through this. Organize your scene. Okay, so we got the moon orbit center. Okay, so I have the moon here. He's kind of in the environment. And if I do F towards this moon, you'll see that that's its own parent, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to create an empty. I'm going to call it orbit center. I'm going to put that inside the environment. I'm going to put the moon inside of that. And then let's see. That's going to be the pivot point. Okay. Moon positions something like 0, 0. So it's offset can orbit the moon position. Well, this position is going to change significantly if I do this. Okay, that's fine. So it must be according to the orbit center, which is fantastic. I think the moon already has a spinner on it. I'm curious what it'll do now that it's got the spinner already. It's still spinning. I don't think it's spinning around that. What I'll do, I'm going to immediately put the spinner on the orbit and then see if the moon kind of orbits around that location. Yeah, see that? So now it's got a little bit of a wobble. That's interesting. Which is kind of cool. Obviously, this is way too fast, but if I had 0.025, you know, I might see it might be a little more interesting of a rotation, right? Yeah, that's pretty slow. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I have that. Make the moon orbit. Okay, it's already kind of orbiting around that. Generate asteroids in a torus shape. Create another empty game called Asteroid Ring. I have Asteroid Field. Let me rename this. Asteroid Ring. Okay, create and make a child of moon orbit center. Okay, so this ring is going to be in here as well. I could make this spin too, which is kind of neat. So let's make it spin. Let's make it appear up there. Oh, it's way off. Look at that. It's flying around. Oh, that's super interesting. I wonder if I get in the middle of it, what will happen if it'll just launch some of these. Oh, maybe I wasn't close enough. All right. Okay, so the ring, we need to do like 0, 0, 20, 0, 0, 10, something way out there, right? So it should be closer to that model. I don't see it at all, actually. Maybe I'm not close enough to see the little rings. All right, let's do this. Let's change that. Oh, that was the scale. I'm sorry. 0, 0, 20. Maybe 0, 0, 10. Or even 0, 0, I don't know, 50, right? Way outside. I'm going to actually move this closer to the player too, because I don't like the position of this. I'm going to do this closer, closer. I'm going to press F to align to the player. I'm going to look out and find that planet. And I'm going to say, come closer, please. Come closer to me. Get that. I got to get the blue side too. Let's rotate it a bit. Let's do W, come this way. Okay, so it's a lot closer to us now. Let's see what those asteroids did. They're way out there, floating way out in space around that center. I think that center is way off for the moon. So the ring, asteroid ring, this one position, okay, 0, 0, 20. That should be a lot closer to the center of that ring. Yeah. Okay, cool. Pretty neat, huh? The asteroids need to be a little bit further off, maybe like 100. And the moon, I think, is too far away from center. It's wobbling a bit too much for me. Okay, interesting. Now we should have the moon spinning too. Okay, it is spinning. The orbit is a bit too fast. 0.25. Let's do it like this. Interesting. This is cool. And they're all spinning together. I like that. Super neat. It really is still too fast. 0.1, 0.05 maybe. Yeah, that's cooler. I like that look. That's cool. Okay. Let's go back to GPT. Asteroid ring generator script. Okay, so I do have a script that I was using to generate those rings. Let me go to VS Code. I'll bring it over so we can see here and zoom in a bit. Here's the asteroid field. So I'm going to actually type this in, asteroid field generator. You'll have to forgive me typing in this code here instead of copying and paste. This is part of my learning process, is getting my fingers to just feel where all of these keys are so that I can make it properly. What are the differences here? So we do have the number of asteroids still. That's cool. Let's see, anything else? Height variation, ring thickness, outer radius. I like this. It's super cool. Inner radius, kind of that donut shape on the center. And then of course on void start, when the game starts, we're going to say for all the number of asteroids, give me a random range of 0 to 360, which is pretty neat, that 360 circle, and give me the position of that asteroid. So they're using vector 3 position, and look at that sine and cosine in here to figure that out. Okay, let's get to typing. I'm going to delete all of this. The public class is asteroid field, public game object. So we're going to get the game object called asteroid prefabs. Is that what I called it? Add multiple types. I called it cosmic silicate. Cosmic silicate. I guess it's going to get all of the asteroids inside. Add multiple types. Okay, let's continue with this. We'll ask questions if we're confused later. Public int number of asteroids. This is going to be well over 100. I'm going to even start at 1,000. Float inner radius, 30F. Probably going to have to be more. And the reason we're making all of these public is so that I can adjust them on the fly, right? When we make these public, it'll show up in our Unity editor so that we can turn the game on make some changes and see how it affects that ring, and then we can kind of finalize those changes as we move along. Okay, let's do ring thickness. Ring thickness equals 5F. And then the last one there, float height variation equal 2F. Okay, cool. I'm not sure what the height variation is compared to ring thickness, but we're going to find out. Void start. Just hit tab to get that going. For int I equals 0. While I is less than the number of asteroids, increment I. So every time, so it's counting through each asteroid. Float angle equal, and I don't know all of these, of course. That's why I'm typing them out and learning so that my brain can kind of keep up without that copy and paste where your brain doesn't keep up whatsoever. Okay, so random range 0F. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Undo. 0F to 360F. Float radius equal random range again, inner radius, and outer radius. Super cool. I'm really excited to be able to adjust those. Then we have float height equal random range again. This is going to be the negative height variation and the height variation. That's interesting. Kind of gives us a range in between those two. I'm going to tab these in so it looks nicer. Something's wrong here. Float angle equal random range. The angle, radius, and height. What is wrong here? I have outer radius, which is, oh, this is out radius, so outer. Okay. It's just my spelling errors. Float angle. Did I do angle? I don't see angle up there. So maybe that's a problem, or we're going to call it later. Okay, so I have that. Let's see now. Let's tab back. Let's tab these over. Vector 3 dot position. Oh, it's not a dot. Vector 3 position equal new vector 3. And then let's give it those positions. Math f dot cosine. This is where it gets ahead of me a little bit. Angle times math f dot degree to radius times radius. Height. So that's just pulling in a single height. And then I'm keeping this all on the same line. We can bump it down to make it a bit more clear to read, but I don't know. This is simple for me to understand too on the same line. So it's angle times, I don't know why that went capital, times math f dot degree to radius again, times the radius. Okay. That is going to get closed and semicolon. This is interesting. I think there's a problem with this angle. I don't know if we didn't call the angle. I don't see it up here. Float angle. It seems like we're doing it here. Ah, this is the main problem. I did not give it any brackets. So it's yelling at me. Okay, and then we're going to obviously give it a bracket way down here and replace that one. Maybe there's an extra one. It must have already did it for me. Okay. Now angle seems to be working correctly. I'm going to lowercase these other angles that it was trying to fix for me. And for giggles, since it's harder to see on screen, I'm going to copy exactly what they did here with these and bump that to the next line. Okay. Now why is this yelling at me? Expected end of semicolon. Maybe I'm missing it in this. I probably am. Okay. I've got that. Okay. I always say quart. Quaternion rotation equal random dot rotation. Game object. So it's going to look for asteroid equal instantiate. Instantiate asteroid prefabs. Random.range. And it's going to be 0. Asteroid prefabs.length. This is the number of asteroid, or not number of prefabs, I think. And let's see. We also need the position, the rotation, and the transform. Okay. Let's see if we got where we needed to go here. I think this is extra. Looks to be. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm anticipating that there are some things wrong with this. 4i, this needs to be a semicolon. Okay, but we at least got it valid, at least valid code here, okay? So the ring is on the XZ plane with the height variation of y. Let's add a script tag to some asteroids as cosmic silicate. So there is bool is cosmic silicate equal false. If you're in your generator script after instantiating, you do something like mineral tag. Okay, so I think GPT is a little ahead of me. I need a bit more training than this. But we're going to give it a try, okay? And sometimes if, they have a ton of instructions here, just slow down and say, hey, back up. This is what I have done. Let's take a look here and see what we did with this generator. I'm guessing it might throw an error because it can't find those asteroid prefabs, but let's see. Object reference not set, instance of object, asteroid field. So let's take a look here. Asteroid ring. It's got the spinner and asteroid field. Okay, so we got some items in here. Asteroid prefabs, look at that. So let's put the cosmic silicate is the prefab that's going to go in that one. And then we do have the other asteroids, which were, I think, part of this ring. Okay, let's go back to the prefabs here. I want to put in the asteroid prefab there. Okay, so I have the 2 prefabs in. Let's see if this generates. Oh my goodness, it's doing something. Incredible. It looks like they're really far away. I don't even know where they went. Can I turn around? They're out there in the distance. They're really far away. Can we catch them? Can you see them out there? Okay, so this is cool though. Let's take a look at the orbit center. All of these. Number of asteroids, inner radius, outer radius. Let's adjust those because they are significantly farther than I want. Inner radius, let's make it 3. Outer radius, let's make 10. Okay, so it's probably the ring thickness between inner and outer radius makes more sense. So let's make that a 10, and the height variation, let's make this 20. And let's see what happens here. Okay, we're still really far away, surprisingly. Okay, so it did give me a good height radius. You see, I like that. I like the height of that. Is this orbiting around there? Maybe okay, it's the position. So let's do the position more like 10. It's a lot closer, as you can see here. Let's see it. It's still really close to me, though. Let's turn that out. Oh, I'm sorry. It did 110 instead of just 10. Okay, number of asteroids. Let's do 1,000. Whew. I think it's all in that general area. Wow. It's kind of this block, right? I think the ones I hit are kind of flying away. So, okay, let's pause this here. Height variation, inner ring. Okay. The asteroid ring, the orbit center. I wonder if the environment itself needs to be at a 0 position. Okay, let's do that. Orbit center is there. Asteroid ring is there. Moon is there. So the offset here is very interesting because the offset should not be that far away. You can see the asteroid ring here is really close to my planet. The moon is obviously very close to the orbit center. So the ring shouldn't be, I mean, even if I move the position, it's right on top of that planet, right? And then if I have a number, inner radius. Okay, so something's going on. What I'm gonna do, let's do this. Let's talk to GPT. Okay, I added the script to create the rings. Here is the script. I also dragged and dropped my 2 asteroids into the prefab sections. It's only showing a block of asteroids, not a ring. Let's go back up and make sure we didn't miss any steps. Asteroid ring generator script. Make the moon. Okay, this is what we just did. The ring is on the XZ plane with the height variation on Y. I added the ring script. Let's double check. The environment has the orbit center. And then there's an asteroid. Yeah, the asteroid ring here has the asteroid field generator. Let's copy that to the asteroid field parent object, empty. I guess this is an empty. All of the planet and the asteroid field are pretty close to the center of the empty. So now I'm going to give it a picture of the hierarchy here. Let's see, there's obstacles. What are these obstacles? Are these? That's the silicate. And there's an asteroid here. Let's delete these. Even going to delete this silicate here. All we should have is this asteroid ring, the moon itself, and the orbit center. And let's give it another play. What I also want to check too is, okay, we got a failure here. What happened? The asteroid, okay, does not exist. Okay, so what I did, I actually deleted the prefab. Instead of dragging the prefab here, I dragged like the instance of the prefab in. So let's go back to asteroid ring. The one I'm missing, I have the asteroid prefab here. I need the cosmic silicate at that top one. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, now I think I could see all of the other ones in there. Oops, I turned too much. Help. Okay, it's moving too fast. I can't even catch up with it, but it's obviously not in a ring. Let's maybe do this and pause real quick. Okay, so we can see different shapes of asteroids, right? This is cool. They're way too close together. I don't know, maybe not for an asteroid. Let's make sure that the prefab here, this asteroid has a rigid body. Okay, the cosmic silicate also has a rigid body. Awesome. The asteroid ring is the asteroid field generator. And let's get a screenshot of our hierarchy. Let's see what GPT has to say. I think we can get this ring figured out. I'd love to kind of run through the ring with my ship and just see what happens, run into things. I think in a later video, I could probably figure out how to collect materials from the cosmic silicate. But let's see. Your ring thickness is being used incorrectly or is unclear in the code. Right now, you're generating asteroids between an inner radius and an outer radius, but ring thickness is not used. Interesting. Okay, I'm just doing what you told me, GPT. Right. Let's see, ring thickness. You can see right here in VS Code it says 0 references, so they're actually accurate. But I don't think that's my fault. I think that was the code they provided, right? Where is it up here? Is it up here? Yeah, it's up here higher, right? Let's see. So it has. That was the random asteroid field, make it orbit, ring thickness. I'm not missing ring thickness. It just never told me to do anything here. It's possible that maybe what I deleted before was going to be more useful, but let's go through what it's telling us to do. Okay, so now it's talking about this section here. We want a float angle random range. This one's fine. It's got a space now. Properly generate a radius between inner and outer. Float radius, range, inner radius, outer radius. Okay, I've got that. Random range, yes, this looks all. Float height, random range, height variation, divided by 2f, so I don't have that. 2f, and height variation there. I'm going to open this up a little bit because, oh, yep, I was missing that one. Also divided by 2f. Okay, now I've got a vector 3 position, new vector, math, cosine, angle, radius, height. None of this has changed. Quaternion rotation, random rotation, game object, asteroid. So this, I think there's a problem here. Game object, asteroid, instantiate. Just fix radius math. So all it did is fix this radius math. It looks like outer radius, inner radius. That's fine. Make sure I have that. Yeah. But I don't know why it's showing here that this asteroid is not necessary. Game object, unnecessary assignment of a value to asteroid. Suggested values for a better ring. Okay, let's go do that. Let's do inner radius, 40. Outer radius, 60. Oops. And height variation, I don't know, says 5 to 10. Number, yeah, we're going to keep it at 1,000. I like 1,000. So these should create a wide donut ring with a clear hole in the middle for your moon. I don't think it's going to do this. Let's save. Let's go back to VS Code and make sure we saved this portion. And glad we did that. Let's give it another try. Okay, it's not doing what we want. I'm going to zoom around here in the editor so I can see it a little bit better. Asteroid ring, where are all these asteroids? I don't even see them. They're way out there. So I'm going to take a screenshot here and say, this is my asteroid ring. This is the ring it generates. It's way outside of the planet and it's not a ring. Well, is it a ring? What do you guys think? Let's zoom in here. Is this a ring? It is a ring. Okay. So the center, this is the problem we're having here. The center is not, so it is a ring. Let's go up and take a look. Okay, cool. So we can see a pretty sweet looking ring there. The center is not on the planet. This is what it generates. The ring is not around the planet. It's orbiting itself. It's orbiting entirely around the empty. Do I need to place, maybe I need to place the script on, let's do this. Let's do it. Because I think the orbit center, I'm just going to add that script. Let's see, what is it? Asteroid field. Let's YOLO it. Let's see what happens here. Okay, we got an error. I don't think I didn't put anything in it. Okay, sorry. Let's do this. We got two game objects, the asteroid prefab and the cosmic silicate. Let's give it another try. All right, what do we see? What do we see? We see two rings over here floating. This is life, right? This is the idea of trying to figure out what the heck is going on and why it's happening. Let's see where the orbit center is. Maybe the environment area is not right. I need to see the transform. Thank you very much. Orbit center. I don't know why this is so far away. This might be our problem. Let's take a look here. Aha. So the center of the planet was like clear out in space, or the center of the orbit was clear out in space. So the offset was completely wrong. I think we're in a much better position now. Let's take a look. Super duper cool. Okay. Take a look. That is super cool. Let's mess with these numbers. I want the inner radius to be like 100. I don't think this is going to update on the fly. Outer radius should be like 200. Let's try that. We might have to, yeah, we're going to have to start and stop again. Okay. So let's do 100 here, 200 there. And I think we're inside the planet right now. Yeah, we are. Okay. Super duper cool, guys. Let's go backwards And let's look down. The controls are pretty interesting here. I've got spacebar for going up and shift for going down. It also follows my cursor quite a bit, but let's increase the space visually here so I can actually see what's going on. I love this. This is super cool. Let's go run into a couple of them, see what we got. We don't have rigid body on these. We should, right? Yeah, maybe these regular ones. The regular ones do. I don't know why. Maybe because I edited the rigid body on the non-prefab. No, it does have a rigid body. I don't know why it doesn't have rigid, or it's not working for us here. So that should be rigid. Let's see if there's anything we're missing here. Do I need a box collider on that? I don't think I do. Let's add it anyway, huh? Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, they're colliding a lot more now. Look how cool those are. I just love the look of that. You know, those asteroids are pretty freaking cool. And look at the look there from the top-down view here. Like, this is sweet. It's got two, I think, because I put one on that main object. You can already see it's flying around. I just love the look of all these rocks everywhere. It's moving through my spaceship. It's hitting me. Pretty freaking sweet. So I think that is some pretty dang good progress. I would love to jump in and figure out how to collect that silicate, how to like capture it and maybe like with a laser or like a tractor beam, right? And kind of move that somewhere and start mining it. I think I'll leave that for another video. I think this was really cool. It was exciting to figure out how this works. It's also exciting to kind of figure out how to problem solve without always asking GPT. You could see sometimes I'm like, let me ask GPT, let me get the materials together, and then something dawns on you. Like you're like, oh wait, the position is not correct. I don't need to ask the AI for this position because that's the elements of learning, right? We're learning, we're typing things out, we're trying to figure out what we're actually typing. And I think you just won't get all of those right off the bat. You'll have to just start learning by putting your fingers to the keyboard. And yes, I could sit here and read the books and read documentation and say, what is the quaternion, right? Or what are these vector 3 things? And some of those I understand, but I think it's better just by learning and trying to problem solve. You will reiterate that faster. It's like, why do you go outside and go run? Well, if you were being chased by a lion, you would definitely learn how to run a lot faster, or you just get eaten by a lion. Anyway, this was super fun. Thanks for joining me on figuring out how I could make this work. I'm excited to make additions to this to kind of make this game a bit more interesting. I will still follow that tutorial. I'll show you here what that tutorial is, kind of the place I am in that tutorial. This is the tutorial. This is the complete C# Unity guide to 3D development. I'm in the middle of doing his tutorial on these spinners and things attacking him. And as you can see here, it's very blocky. To me, it's not that interesting, but I am learning things from it. So I'm jumping back to the tutorial. I'm seeing what I learned from that. I'm seeing if I can implement it. And then I'm running my own direction. I'm saying, what else can I do to make this interesting? And then I go back to the tutorial and I say, okay, teach me something new, right? Teach me something new that I can implement in my own game. So I encourage you to do the same. You won't learn as much if you're just following the tutorial, if you're just downloading the project files. You're really not going to learn very much. Get in, get your feet wet, dig in, ask AI questions, start typing with your own fingers, don't copy and paste, and just start learning. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments. I know I asked a bunch of questions about things that I didn't know, especially with materials. I really need to dive in to how you add materials in a more meaningful way. That was difficult for me on that planet in the very beginning. But let me know. I'd love to know what you know about that, or maybe tutorials that you have that have been helpful to you. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.